there are rookie cards, and then there are time machines. Junior Seau's 1990 score rookie number 302 is the latter. Before the accolades, before the heartbreak, before the name Seau became shorthand for intensity, there was this card. You remember it if you were around. The bright tricolor border, the raw, explosive photo. USC's number 55 in motion, caught at the peak of pursuit. The kind of card that didn't just show a player, it promised something. Seau wasn't smiling, he wasn't posing. He was sprinting toward something only he could see. And now, more than 30 years later, we know what it was. This is Cardboard Credentials, the show where we explore the story behind the athlete through the lens of the card that captured them. Because every card has a story, and some carry more weight than cardboard should be able to bear. Today, Junior Seau, card number 302, a story of greatness, grit, and the high cost of glory. Junior Seau's story begins in Oceanside, California, not far from the roar of the Pacific in a world away from privilege. His full name was Tianya Baul Seau Jr., born on January 19, 1969. His family was Samoan, culturally rich, devoutly spiritual, and fiercely proud. His parents had immigrated to the United States from the American Samoa in search of opportunity, bringing their values and work ethic with them. But life in California wasn't easy. His father worked construction, long hours, hard labor. His mother raised the children, 7 in total, on a tight budget. Their home wasn't big enough for a family that large, so Junior, one of the middle children, slept in the garage. Not an extra bedroom that felt like a garage, the actual garage. Concrete floor, no insulation, one single mattress, that was his room. And yet, in that small space, a giant was forming. Junior took the hardship and turned it into fuel. The garage became a gym, a sanctuary, a proving ground. He used a barbell made from old car parts. He lifted milk jugs filled with cement. He did push-ups until his chest trembled and pull-ups until his hands tore. He ran the hills in his neighborhood like they were mountains waiting to be conquered. The discipline was self-imposed. He wasn't preparing for the NFL. He was just trying to be ready for whatever came next. Ready to be stronger than his situation. Ready to make his parents' sacrifice mean something. At Oceanside High School, it didn't take long for people to realize Junior wasn't just another athletic kid. He was different. He lettered in football, basketball, and track, but football was a superpower. He was 6'3", weighed 240 pounds, and moved like a sprinter. His coaches used him everywhere. Tight end, defensive end, outside linebacker, inside linebacker, and even punter. Whatever position he played, the field tilted in his direction. Opposing coaches double-teamed him, sometimes triple-teamed him, and none of it worked. More than just size or speed, though. It was the intensity. Every play looked like it was his last. He didn't jog, he hunted, even in practice. And still, Junior wasn't just known for what he did on the field. He was kind, he was goofy. He was everyone's big brother. He wasn't a trash talker, he was a motivator. The guy who'd slap you on the helmet after a bad play and say, "You've got this, buddy." That word, buddy, stuck with him. He used it for everyone. His dream school was USC, and when they offered, he accepted immediately. It was a perfect match. Tradition, toughness, and a pathway to the NFL. But when he arrived, the dream nearly derailed. Junior Seau's freshman season at USC didn't start with a snap. It started with a standstill. He didn't meet the SAT requirements. He was academically ineligible and forced to redshirt his freshman year. For many athletes, that moment of being told you can't play is devastating. But for Seau, it was fuel. While others were practicing, he was in the gym. While others were coasting, he was studying. He worked with tutors, took responsibility, and learned the system. And when he got to play, he exploded. By 1989, he wasn't just USC's best defensive player, he was one of the best defenders in the entire country. That year, he racked up 19 sacks, 19, as an outside linebacker. That's not just productive, that's unheard of. He dominated games, ruined game plans, and he did it with a kind of joy that you couldn't miss. He danced after sacks, roared after tackles, and smiled through the pain. That season, he was a unanimous All-American, the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year, and USC's heartbeat. The NFL scouts took notice. There was only one question: where would he go? April 22nd, 1990, NFL Draft Day. The San Diego Chargers held the 5th overall pick, and the decision was easy. With the 5th pick in the 1990 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers select Junior Seau, linebacker, USC. The garage kid from Oceanside was going pro, all at home. Fans cried. Teammates rejoiced. The Chargers didn't just get a linebacker. They got a leader, a local legend, a generational soul. And in the background, Score Football was preparing their now iconic 1990 set. Card number 302 would show Junior in motion, still in his USC uniform. Full stride, helmet on, eyes ahead. Not a posed rookie, not a smiling prospect, a force in action. The photo choice was perfect. It wasn't just about the beginning, it was about the movement, about the chase. And on the back, a quote from USC head coach Larry Smith. Junior is a real force on the field. We try to move him around so people can't double up on him. He's very aggressive, a dominant player who makes lots of big plays. No hype, no filler, just facts. This wasn't just a rookie card, it was a message. Let's pause for a second and hold that card, literally or mentally. 1990, Score Football, card number 302. You remember the style. Vivid border, bold team colors. Score's early 1990s design didn't try to be subtle. It wanted to announce players, make statements, be loud. Junior's card is all of that and more. The photo, taken during a USC game, mid-play, his face is obscured by the helmet, but the posture says everything. Shoulders squared, arms pumping, knees high, focus, deadly. The photographer caught the moment perfectly, the instant before contact. The border, yellow, red, and blue, early 1990s design at its finest. It's loud, it's proud, it's alive. The text, Junior Seau, outside linebacker, in clean font. No gimmicks, no fluff, just power. Flip it over, and you get the stats, metrics, and now haunting quote. You also see his 440-pound bench press, his 4.6 40-yard dash, his 19 sacks. You don't read those numbers, you feel them. The card wasn't just about Seau's potential, it captured his presence. From the very first snap of his NFL career, Junior Seau didn't look like a rookie. He looked like destiny in cleats. The transition from college to the pros is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to expose weaknesses. But with Seau, the only thing it exposed was how rare his presence really was. As a rookie, he played 15 games and made an immediate impact. By his second season, he was a Pro Bowler, and he didn't stop there. From 1991 to 2002, Junior Seau was selected to 12 consecutive Pro Bowls. He was named first-team All-Pro 6 times. He led the Chargers in tackles year after year. He chased down running backs, leveled tight ends, and rushed quarterbacks with equal ease. But it wasn't just the production, it was the passion. He played the game like a man possessed, barking out defensive audibles, calling out formations before the snap, adjusting teammates' positions on the fly. And when the ball was snapped, he attacked like he'd been insulted by the idea of being blocked. He wasn't just a linebacker, he was the soul of San Diego's defense. And the fans, they knew it. Seau jerseys flooded Qualcomm Stadium every Sunday. Oceanside became a pilgrimage for local kids dreaming of being just like him. Reporters didn't just write about his stats, they wrote about his spirit. In a sport that breaks bodies, he made it look like poetry. What made Junior Seau unique wasn't just how he played, it was how much he gave. He was the first guy in the facility and the last to leave. He studied film obsessively, not just on his own matchups, but his teammates' responsibilities too. He wanted to know everything, not to show off, but to lead. He kept a mental Rolodex of opposing players' tendencies, which foot they shifted on before a screen pass, how tight their stance was before a run. He wasn't trying to be a star, he was trying to be ready. Off the field, he was even more relentless. In 1992, just 2 years into his NFL career, he founded the Junior Seau Foundation, dedicated to improving the lives of children and young adults through education, mentorship, and outreach. He didn't just donate money, he showed up. He hosted golf tournaments, youth camps, mentorship programs. He visited schools. He walked into hospitals unannounced to lift the spirits of sick kids. And in his hometown of Oceanside, he became more than a role model. He became an institution. Kids didn't just dream of the NFL. They dreamed of being like Junior. By 1994, the Chargers had built something special. Under head coach Bobby Ross and with Seau anchoring the defense, San Diego went 11-5. The team wasn't flashy. They weren't media darlings, but they were tough, efficient, and full of heart. They beat the Dolphins in the AFC divisional round and then upset the heavily favored Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC Championship game. In that game, the biggest in Chargers history, Seau recorded 16 sacks. 16. He played with a pinched nerve. He could barely lift his arm between series, but when the ball was snapped, he found another gear. And just like that, the Chargers were headed to Super Bowl 29. The city lit up. Oceanside erupted. And Seau, he smiled like a kid who just won a bike race. The game itself, against the 49ers, didn't go their way. San Francisco, led by Steve Young, won in dominant fashion, 49-26. But Seau never stopped playing, never stopped running, never stopped fighting. Even in defeat, he gave everything. And that's what people remembered most. After the Super Bowl, Seau didn't slow down. He continued to dominate on the field, regularly posting 100-tackle seasons well into his 30s. But as he aged, the hits piled up. He played through countless injuries, sprained shoulders, hyperextended knees, concussions that went unreported. He kept going, because that's what Junior Seau did. He wasn't chasing stats. He was chasing service to his team, to his community, and to the game itself. And yet, as the years went by, the Chargers began to change. Younger players emerged. Coaches turned over. The team was rebuilding. In 2003, the unthinkable happened. The Chargers traded Junior Seau to the Miami Dolphins. It wasn't a clean break. He wanted to stay. The fans wanted him to stay, but the franchise had moved on. Still, Junior left with dignity. "I'll always be a Charger," he said, "but I've still got football to play." And he did. From 2003 to 2005, Seau wore a different shade of blue. He played 15 games in his first season in Miami, made 133 tackles, mentored younger players, gave press conferences with that same trademark smile. But injuries caught up with him. A torn pectoral, a calf strain, nagging pain in places where cameras never caught. In 2005, he was released. The career, at least it seemed, was over. But we should have known better. This was Seau. He wasn't finished yet. In 2006, Seau made it official. He was retiring from the NFL. He held a press conference, got emotional, thanked San Diego, thanked his family, said the game had given him everything. It lasted 3 days. On August 18th, 2006, Junior Seau unretired, signing with the New England Patriots. And in that moment, we got one last chapter. He wasn't the same physically. He didn't fly around the field like he used to, but what he brought to New England was just as valuable. Experience, energy, leadership, and heart. And Bill Belichick knew it. Seau didn't just play a role. He became a bridge between the locker room and the coaching staff. Young defenders leaned on him. Coaches trusted him. When the Patriots started the 2007 season 16-0, Junior was a big reason why. That year, he started 10 games, recorded 74 tackles, picked off 3 passes, and brought emotion to a locker room that was often accused of being too clinical. New England was a machine, and Seau, he was the soul inside of it. The Patriots reached Super Bowl 42 with a perfect record. They were heavy favorites. And then came the helmet catch. David Tyree, the Giants, the upset. The perfect season was gone. And Seau, once again, left the field without the one thing he had always chased, a championship. He returned in 2008 and again in 2009, and then finally stepped away for good in 2010. His final NFL stat line is staggering. 20 seasons, 1,849 tackles, 56.5 sacks, 18 interceptions, 12 Pro Bowl selections, 6 first-team All-Pro honors. He was inducted into the San Diego Chargers Hall of Fame. His jersey, number 55, was retired. His name became legend. But the man behind the pads, he was changing. Friends noticed it first. The light dimmed just a little. The smile was still there, but it didn't always reach his eyes. He grew more reclusive. Mood swings began. Trouble sleeping. Forgetfulness. Emotional fog. He opened a restaurant in San Diego, Seau's, and kept busy with foundation work, but something wasn't right. In October 2010, He drove his SUV off a cliff near Carlsbad. He survived. The accident was brushed off. Fatigue, he said, a moment of distraction. But to those close to him, it felt like something else. On May 2nd, 2012, Junior Seau didn't show up for a scheduled workout. He didn't answer calls and didn't respond to messages. That morning, his girlfriend found him in the bedroom of his Oceanside home. He had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest. He was 43 years old. The news rippled across the sports world. Fans were stunned. Former teammates were heartbroken. Reporters struggled to make sense of it. He hadn't left a note, but his method, a chest wound, echoed a message. Like fellow NFL player Dave Duerson, who took his own life in the same way, it was a silent request. Study my brain. He suspected what was happening to him, and he was right. Seau's brain was studied by researchers at the National Institute of Health. The results were conclusive. He had chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a degenerative brain condition caused by repeated head trauma, the disease that has claimed dozens of NFL players' lives, the one that had until recently been ignored. The symptoms matched: mood swings, depression, memory loss, insomnia, erratic behavior, all of it. Signs of a brain that had taken too many hits. The hits that made Seau famous were the ones that broke him. His family came forward with courage. His ex-wife and his children spoke openly. They wanted people to know, not just about the pain, but about the pattern. The NFL could no longer deny it. Junior Seau's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a turning point. In 2015, 3 years after his death, Seau was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It was posthumous. His family accepted the honor on his behalf, but controversy erupted when the Hall of Fame initially refused to let his daughter, Sydney, speak during the ceremony. They cited policy, no posthumous speeches. But that policy didn't sit right, not with fans, not with players, and not with Sydney. Eventually, she was given time to speak at a separate event, and when she did, it was perfect. Dad, you gave everything to football. You did it with passion, with purpose, and with love, and we will always remember you for that. The room stood still. Junior Seau wasn't there to put on the gold jacket, but the game finally gave him the honor that he had long since earned. Pick up that card again. 1990 score rookie, card number 302. It used to look like a beginning, a promise, an artifact of hope and arrival. And now it looks like something more. It's a memorial, a time capsule, a glimpse at a man we didn't fully understand until it was too late. That image, Seau in motion, mid-stride, chasing a play that hasn't quite formed, it's poetic. He was always chasing something: greatness, joy, peace. In this card, it's the last image before the chase took too much. To this day, if you drive through Oceanside, California, you'll see reminders. A mural on a wall, a field named in his honor, a community that still talks about Junior like he never left. Because in a way, he never did. He funded scholarships for local students. He built programs for kids who had nothing but dreams. He hosted football camps where the biggest prize wasn't gear or trophies. It was a moment spent with Junior. He gave his time, his money, his presence. And in that town, the one that raised him, the one he always claimed, Seau wasn't just a hometown hero. He was a guardian spirit. After his death, the outpouring was overwhelming. Not just from former teammates and coaches, but from regular people, waiters, teachers, high school kids, families he'd helped without ever posting about it. They all had the same story. Junior Seau showed up. He remembered your name. He made you feel like you mattered. And that's what made him different. He was a Hall of Famer long before Canton. The tragedy of Junior Seau wasn't just that he died. It's that he tried to tell us. In his final years, he journaled. He confided in close friends. He wrote down words like confused, angry, can't sleep, headache, gun, and CTE. And no one quite knew what to do with it until it was too late. His death didn't just hit the sports world, it ignited a fire. In 2016, the NFL publicly acknowledged a link between repeated head trauma and CTE for the first time. Years of denial collapsed under the weight of stories like Seau's. Rules changed. Concussion protocols became stricter. Independent medical evaluators were added to sidelines. Helmet technology improved. Players began to retire earlier and more often, citing brain health. Seau became the face of a movement that he never intended to lead. But in many ways, he was always a leader, even in the shadows and even in silence. So what does a piece of cardboard really mean? It's easy to dismiss cards as just memorabilia, just paper and plastic, something to flip, sell, grade, or trade. But for those who remember holding that 1990 score number 302, for those who pulled it from a wax pack, flipped it over, read the quote, memorized the stats, for those who felt something when they looked at that bold border and that bold man in motion, you know the truth. It's not just a card. It's a story, a memory, a link between the past and present. When you hold Junior Seau's rookie card today, you're not just holding a player's first step into the pros. You're holding a warning, a legacy, a life that gave everything. Junior Seau wasn't perfect. He was human, complex, a man who loved big and hit hard, who danced in locker rooms and cried in silence. He was a gladiator in a league that often forgot what happens after the war. But more than anything, he was present. He showed up, on time, in full, for his team, for his city, for kids who needed hope, for fans who needed joy. He was a missile on Sundays and a mentor on Mondays. And when he left us, he left behind more than highlight reels. He left questions about safety, about sacrifice, about whether the game he loved, the game that made him, also destroyed him. But he also left an example of how to lead, how to care, how to play with every ounce of who you are. And that's why we remember him. Back to the card. Number 302, score, 1990. The border, loud, brash, unforgettable. The name, Junior Seau, bold, white on blue. The image, frozen motion, helmet on, face unseen, power in every muscle, fire in every step. When you first saw it, maybe you saw potential, promise. Now, you see sacrifice. It's not just a rookie card anymore. It's a memorial, a message, a moment in time when nothing had yet gone wrong and everything felt possible. This card says more now than it ever could back then. It says remember him, not just for how he played, but for what he gave. When you look back at the game, truly look, you start to realize how much has changed. In the early 1990s, toughness was defined by silence, by those who could take a hit, walk it off, and smile afterward. Concussions weren't diagnosed, they were laughed off as getting your bell rung. Pain was expected, and talking about it wasn't. Junior Seau thrived in that world. But the same traits that made him a superstar, relentlessness, selflessness, emotional energy, are the same ones that masked what he was going through. He didn't want to worry anyone. He didn't want to be seen as broken, so he kept playing, kept smiling, even when the darkness crept in. Now, in the wake of his life and death, we know better. We understand that the human cost of football isn't just torn ACLs and broken bones. It's the invisible injuries, the ones that we can't tape up, the ones that hide behind the helmet and settle into the brain. And because of players like Seau, we're finally talking about it. Coaches at every level are more cautious. Parents ask tougher questions. Players speak out without shame. The culture is shifting, slowly but undeniably. All because Junior Seau made sure that we could no longer ignore it. It's a strange thing how a man can leave the game but never really be gone. Every time a linebacker times a snap perfectly and explodes through the gap, he's there. Every time a player smiles after a tackle, claps for a teammate, lifts someone off the turf, he's there. Every time a rookie card is pulled from a dusty box or found in a dollar bin at a show, he's there. That's what makes sports cards special. They do not fade away the way memories do. They capture the exact second before everything happened and lets us revisit it forever. In Junior Seau's 1990 score rookie card, we see the moment before the accolades, before the heartbreak, and before the impact. We see motion, we see pursuit, we see promise. And that's the power of cardboard. And that's the power of Junior Seau's legacy. Junior Seau gave football everything, every muscle, every emotion, every minute of his day. He made fans cheer and quarterbacks panic. He lifted up teammates and entire communities. He gave children role models, gave coaches headaches, and gave San Diego a face they could proudly call their own. He was laughter and intensity, a smile with a hit behind it, a storm inside shoulder pads. And though his story ended in silence, his life was anything but quiet. It was a roar, a charge, a bolt of lightning. And in that light, we saw the best and the most human version of what it means to be great. We close today's episode not with stats, but with a challenge. When you look at a sports card, really look. Ask yourself, what's behind it? What did it cost? What did it capture? And what does it preserve? Junior Seau's 1990 score rookie number 302 isn't rare. You can find it in dollar boxes, online for a few bucks. Ungraded copies are everywhere. But the story it holds, that's priceless. It's the start of a life that gave everything it had to the game, to the people, and to the pursuit of something bigger. So next time you flip through your collection and your fingers land on that tricolored border, that man in motion, take a moment. Not just to admire the card, but to remember the man. Because every card has a story. And Junior Seau's, it's one we'll never forget. This has been Cardboard Credentials, the podcast that takes you behind the stories of your favorite sports cards. Please be sure to follow, subscribe, and share this with anyone you know that's interested in sports cards. Because the next card you find might be the next story we tell. Until next time.